Burnout, it doesn't start with stress. It starts with scope creep. And that's what I want to talk about. Okay? Because I came across this video and everyone in the comments, I mean, they thought it was hilarious. I watched it and thought, man, that looks like a Tuesday. Let's watch it.
My coworker got asked why she was so hard to reach at work, and she literally made a Gamma deck called My Availability, and there was literally a bar chart of her lunch break shrinking from 60 minutes to 9 minutes over like 1 quarter. There was even a trend line showing meeting requests overlapping her focus blocks 14 times in a single week, and a heat map of her calendar turning solid red by 10 a.m. for 3 weeks straight. Final slide was just her calendar showing entirely red, captioned, "Let me know what slot works for you," and leadership literally introduced Focus Fridays the next day. It was hilarious.
Okay, so first of all, a PowerPoint called My Availability, that is iconic. The shrinking lunch break chart, the calendar heat map, the calendar that just, it's completely red. It's like corporate America really said, can you make your suffering visible so everyone can see it? But here's what everyone in the comments was missing. This isn't a story about someone who's busy. It's a story about scope creep. And you know what I'm talking about. We talk about it all the time at work. Project managers, marketers. It's when tiny exceptions become the norm. Come on, you need a work example? Come on, I'll give you one really quick. You promise, hey, I'll put together a one pager. And as you're working through it, you're like, oh, wow, we actually need three. And then you look up and you put together 10 slides. Or maybe you're a consultant and you're working for someone and they're like, hey, can you just do this one task? But then they realize that that one task requires so much more, and you're just the easy go to ask to do it for the same rate, even though it's costing you more hours. And that's not what you initially decided. All right, you don't want a work example. I got it. How about when you say, I'll just eat this protein bar really quick because I have a bunch of work to do. And then it becomes, you know what, lunch isn't really a thing anymore. And before you know it, you're eating a protein bar at 3:47 p.m. because apparently that's self-care now. And you know what the scary part is? Nobody announces it. It just slowly takes your availability until your calendar belongs to everyone except you. Real quick, in fact, if you called a protein bar that you had at your desk lunch this week, drop 347 in the comments and let me know it's not just me because that's how scope creep started. I got three signs for you of scope creep, okay? One, lunch becomes optional. If you look at your calendar right now, in fact, look at your calendar right now. Would you know when you eat? Seriously, or does your calendar just look like free real estate? Your calendar, it teaches people how to treat your time. And if your lunch hour looks available, guess what? They assume that it is. And my grandma would say, hey, don't assume because it makes you know how to finish that cliche. It makes a ASS out of you and me. So let's not assume. So what I need you to do every day is I need you to block that time. I'm serious. Every day, same time, block it. Purple, orange, pink, green. I don't care. I really don't. But when you block it, you are you stop advertising your lunch hour as open inventory. And it's not because you're difficult, it's because you're human. All right, let me give you sign number two. Everyone else's emergencies, they become your priorities somehow. You know, you know this person. Maybe you are this person. Ooh, can we jump on a quick call? Sure. Ooh, can you review this real fast? Absolutely. Oh, can you help me right before lunch? Oh yeah, of course. And then suddenly you're the emergency response team for the department you don't even manage. Here's the sentence I wish more women use. And I had to learn this the hard way. I can absolutely help. But here's what I have the bandwidth to do right now. Do you notice I didn't even say the word no? I said, here's my availability. Now that's a boss, okay? Those are two different conversations. One protects the quality of your work, and the other one quietly erodes it. You ready for sign number three? You don't notice until you're already on empty. And this is why I talk about scope creep instead of burnout. Burnout feels dramatic, but scope creep, it is a slow erosion of your time. In fact, how many lunches have you had this week? Okay, let me ask it differently. How many lunches did you work through this week? Right? How many focus blocks disappeared? What about how many times did I say yes because I felt guilty? Instead of I said yes because that was actually the right call. Look, here's the real cost. It's not exhaustion. The cost is depletion. Depletion makes you start making rush yeses, reactive calls, commitments you just make to end the conversation. The kind of decisions are present when you veto it in a heartbeat. Like burnout, it isn't one gigantic decision, it's 100 tiny ones nobody questions, including you. What's it called? Death by a thousand cuts? When I worked in finance, there were seasons when genuinely I believed constant availability made me valuable. Honestly. There was earning seasons. There was like the seasons when we had to just hunker down. And that's what I thought. Someone needed me? Yeah, I answered it. Another meeting popped up? Yeah, I made it work. Lunch disappeared? Oh yeah, no big deal. In fact, I kept a drawer of protein bars until one day I realized I wasn't choosing my calendar anymore. My calendar, it was choosing me, and I was letting it. And those decisions I was proudest of, none of them came from that version of me. They came from rested, unrushed version of me who actually had room to think. So ask yourself this one question for me, okay? What used to be a boundary that's now quietly become optional? Seriously, maybe it's lunch, maybe it's logging off after dinner. Maybe it's that Teams message that you're still answering at 9:30 p.m. at night. Whatever it is, that's where you start. Not by overhauling your whole life tomorrow. No, just reclaiming one boundary before it disappears because your calendar it doesn't only reflect your priorities. Guess what? It reveals your leadership. And leaders who protect their availability, they make sharper decisions than leaders who are available to everyone. I'm curious, what's the first thing that disappeared from your workday? Your lunch? Your focus time? Logging off when you said you would? Tell me in the comments. And if you're ready to become a stronger leader without emptying yourself to do it, meet me here next week, okay? Let's unpack this together. Because around here, we don't just work harder, we unlearn things together and we take action.